Hello everybody, Big 7 here, back for some new content looking at NFL SuperCoach. Last year I came second overall and won the SuperCoach Cup, so I guess I probably do have some good insights in this game, and I'll show you what my first team looks like, although there's 26 days and 18 hours until the start of the year, so this is by no means set in stone or anything like that. So much can happen between now and the start of the year. All it takes is a couple of injuries to like some starting running backs, and then you get some cheap guys at a value. Before I do that, I'm just going to go through, I guess, some beginner tips. So for people that maybe aren't as into NFL compared to AFL, I guess some of the key differences, and then a few resources. So I just jotted them down in a notepad before I started. But first one, you start closer to full premium compared to SuperCoach, just because the salary cap is a little bit more generous. So in like AFL, maybe you're starting with 8 or 9 rookies on field. NFL, it's probably like 3 to 5, depending on your team structure. Also in NFL, you want to target your top liners more aggressively. So guys like Bontempelli, I was never starting in AFL because, like, even though you know he's going to be a top 8 midfielder, you just need to try and find value elsewhere, whereas in NFL, you can go after the top liners more aggressively. So that's a big difference in my strategy, maybe not for other people, but it's a difference for NFL. So the rookies in NFL, they are older coming into the league compared to AFL. AFL, you're drafting like 18, 19-year-olds, and they're getting onto the field straight away, whereas NFL, they go through college. I think the youngest NFL players that are rookies are like 21 years old, and some of them come out of college and are like 24 or 25. So that means they can make an immediate impact. There's guys that have been basically among the top players in the league in their first year in the league, just because they've had a bit more time to develop, and guys like Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, like they had outstanding rookie years. So that makes a guns and rookies approach even more viable in NFL, and once again targeting those top liners. There's more injuries in AFL. The good thing about NFL is like the reporting on injuries is a lot more transparent than AFL. Like AFL, sometimes you get like a injury report out on like a Tuesday, and then teams roll out on a Thursday, and it's just like randomly you see a couple of your players around, and it's like, well, where did that come from? Whereas NFL, you'll normally hear throughout the week a player is questionable. Questionable, like, normally leans more yes towards no, and then like if they go to a doubtful, then it's more no than yes, and then out, obviously. So they have to report a bit more tightly on injuries. There are some teams that still don't do it as much as they should. I guess like San Francisco are probably the Geelong of the NFL when it comes to injury reporting, but you do get a lot more information about players that could potentially be out compared to AFL. And then, a friendly amount of trades as well. So I think, how many trades we got for the year? 24 trades across 18 weeks, so 1.5 a round. Normally, you're not using too many early on, and I guess you do want to keep a couple of trades for the back end of the year as well, because overall goes until week 18 in this, but there are some teams that will just outright rest players in week 18. So Josh Allen was an example of that this year. So he was a forced trade out. I kept 1 trade over last year, so was able to trade him out. But you'd ideally want to keep 2. Differences between this year and last year for NFL. It seems to be a comparatively bad bunch of rookies. Like, mainly the quarterbacks. Like, we had Jackson Dart last year, who came in and made a stack of money, though he didn't start the year, but he came in and made a lot of money. JJ McCarthy looked like he was going to be a good rookie on paper, and was the NFC Offensive Player of the Year NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 1, and unfortunately that was his peak. Some had Cam Ward as well, number 1 pick, who started last year. Ashton Genty, better situation this last year compared to Jeremiah Love this year, similar draft capital. So yeah, we might need to try and hit value a little bit harder this year compared to usual. You still want to go after top liners, but maybe it's a bit. Maybe you want to take a few shots on guys that are a bit cheaper. And I guess there are some guys that are valued this year that can be top liners. So I'll go through them in a little bit. And then I just want to go through a few resources for absolute beginners. So if you've got no idea about players, Fantasy Pros is it basically amalgamates a bunch of so-called expert ranks and puts them together. So like for wide receivers, for example, it's got Chase, Puka Nakua, JSN, and Amon Ra as like your top four wide receivers in their own tier. Personally, I'd have Chase in a tier of his own, and I'd probably bump like CD up into that tier as well, but that's just like a personal take. But yeah, this kind of amalgamates players, so you can, if you've got no idea what you're doing, like you can pick roughly based on these. So there's also, strength of schedule. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of sites, but the one I've used in the past is Draft Sharks, and I don't put too much strength into strength of schedule, but it is a handy thing to look at. So, like if you're thinking about, I don't know, starting Justin Herbert as a quarterback, and then you look at that and it's like, well, his first 6 weeks are pretty bad, and then he's got a bye, then maybe you're less inclined to take that risk, but it's probably more like if you're leaning between two players kind of thing, and it's like, well, you want the one with the stronger schedule, but I'm normally a fan of just picking my guys anyway, but you would, in an ideal world, like time them around the schedule, but this is also based on last year's numbers as well, so teams can change year on year. An example of that, like I think Cleveland were a decent defense last year, like maybe like top 8, top 10, but they lose Myles Garrett to the Rams, and so they're probably projected a bit lower in terms of a defense this year, which strength of schedule doesn't always represent. So there is also that to keep in mind. And then buy rounds as well, that's pretty important. I don't think I got a graphic up for that, but knowing when your players are on buys is pretty crucial. Because, like I said, like there's a bit more flexibility to sideways trade in this game. So let's say if you wanted to fade Josh Allen, start like a Lamar Jackson instead. Lamar, I'm pretty sure, has a week 14 bye. Josh Allen has a week 7 bye. And then that kind of gives you like the flexibility to trade Lamar to Allen sometime between 8 and 14. So you can kind of do things like that. But yeah, knowing when buys are, you don't want to be trading players into buys, etc. So that is important as well. So I'm going to go through my locks now. There aren't that many of them at this point of the year. Quarterbacks, I think there's a number of different routes you can go, so I'll go back to them before I fill out the team. Running backs, I think Bijan and Gibbs are both locks. Early ownership has them very high. Third and fourth in terms of SuperCoach average last year. But crazily enough, like these are both guys, they're still like hitting their prime of their career, and they are in upgraded situations. Bijan loses his running mate Algier to the Cardinals, which should give Bijan a bit more work and potentially more touchdowns as well to get some more goal line work, because Algier did snipe a few of those. And then Jahmyr Gibbs kind of, so he's in a similar situation, loses David Montgomery to the Texans, but it kind of was trending anyway. Like first half of the year, like Gibbs and Montgomery were splitting a reasonable amount, but Gibbs was getting more, and then second half of the year it was basically Gibbs having the lion's share of the work. So those two guys are locks for me. I don't see any scenarios to fade them. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase is a lock. I mean, if I go back to this Fantasy Pros, like it has him on top. And for me, he's the clear wide receiver one. Had excuses last year. His quarterback, Joe Burrow, was injured for a large chunk of the year. Still finished as the wide receiver 4 based on average. And this year, I would have him as wide receiver 1, so 20 mil, even that represents a bit of value for Jamar Chase. I think Brock Bowers is a lock as well. He had an awesome rookie season. He's going into his 3rd season now. Had excuses last year. Quarterback play was pretty awful, and Bowers himself was injured for a large part of the year, and playing through that injury, playing with a knee brace on, which impacted performance. So he's another one. He's one where I'm projecting him to be the top tight end for the year, but you're not paying the very top price. And should be potentially gets a QB upgrade, although I'm not sure how the Vegas quarterback room is going to look, whether it's going to be Kirk or Mendoza, and how long each of them will be in the driver's seat. But it can't be worse than last year, and I do rate the hire that they got at head coach Clint Kubiak. He was the offensive coordinator at the Seahawks, who obviously won the Super Bowl last year. So Bowers is a lock for me. Kickers, I just think because we need to find value, that I'm not going to start the top guys. And kickers is a position where it's less about the player themselves and it's more about the situation around them. So someone like Brandon Aubrey, Dallas is a great situation for a kicker, but he himself is a really good kicker as well. In his rookie year, he had the most kicking points in the league. So, and if you were starting him in SuperCoach, he would have been like very low price. So, it's more a situation of looking at situation rather than player evaluations. But you also do want a reasonably good kicker, because if you have a kicker that misses a few kicks, they are in danger of getting cut. So there's a few players that are cut price at the kicker position this year. The ones that I'm most keen on, and there's Sanders, but he was in a kicking battle at the Giants, and they've gone from 3 down to 2, and Sanders was the first one kicked out of that battle. So maybe not. Don't expect the Jets to be a good side, but he is an option. If he does, I think he's got to beat out Cade York for the kicking spot. Do they have another one? Yeah, it's just those two on the roster, I'm pretty sure. So, I'm still, I don't like the Jets as a team this year. I think probably projected to be a bottom 5 offense, and like you said, you want a kicker in a good situation. Tyler Bass, not quite rookie price, but he has a significant discount. Plays at Buffalo, who they have Super Bowl aspirations this year, should win their division. And Bass himself, he's like an okay kicker. I wouldn't say he's amazing or anything like that. And in a perfect world, you would have a kicker that kicks in a dome rather than outdoor field, and Bass in Buffalo will be kicking outdoors a lot this year. But still, I think he could be like a mid-range kicker. So at 6.7 mil, there's probably like 5 mil of value in him, I think. Trey Smack, Green Bay kicker, 4 million. I was kind of looking at him a couple of days ago. I'm like, I'm kind of off him. He's had his, so he's a 6th round pick this year. Had his woes in practice, but so 20 of 27 on the practice field this year, so going at less than 75%. A typical kicker will, at NFL level, will go at like 85%, so he's below that, and that's on a practice field compared to a game situation. So game situation, you obviously got to deal with pressure, and you should be expecting kickers to go like 90% on a practice field. So Smack did have his early troubles, but then they played a preseason game today. Smack hit a 3 for 3 on field goal attempts. There was also a 4th attempt that didn't count because there was a penalty on the play, but he slotted that, and that was a 58-yarder. And the one of the ones that he did slot was a 58-yarder as well. So he could have had 2 of them. So he's back in contention for me as a kicker. And then there is also a kicking battle to be watched to see who ends up being the starter there, whether it ends up being Sauls or Zavada. So Sauls, he was there last year for a few games, kicked okay. Zavada, undrafted free agent out of Michigan this year. Had a few woes in college and didn't start training camp that strongly, but he has been very strong over the middle to back half of training camp. I think he's gone like 41 of 45 compared to Sauls, who's like 31 or 38. So based on those numbers, Zavada could be in the driver's seat to get that position, but that's one to see over preseason. See who ends up getting the starting job. I think preseason will determine who ends up getting that job. But yeah, Zavada probably in the driver's seat at the moment. The Giants, are they going to be a good team this year? I'm not sure, but they could be around mid-table. So they've got John Harbaugh as coach. So at Baltimore last year, Tyler Loop was a rookie kicker. He starting at 11 mil, but I think he made about 8 mil last year. So maybe Zavada makes like somewhere between 5 to 10 million if he starts. So at the moment, it's between Bass, Smack, and Zavada, but none of them are locks in my eyes. Defense, I got to be honest, haven't really looked at. I generally like to pick like a really cheap bench DST. So you've got the Cowboys and the Jets there that are basement price for DST. So I would be picking Dallas over the Jets. The Jets did not have a single interception last year, which is incredibly crazy. So just based on that alone, I think I would take the Cowboys. But yeah, it's probably going to be the last position that I fill. And then flex. In your finish side, it is effectively a second quarterback spot because quarterbacks score so much better than every other position, and that's kind of why like there's a bit of a cash crunch if there aren't any rookie quarterbacks making money. But I'm going to fill out the rest of the side with what I've got at the moment. So quarterback, it's between 4 for me right now. Josh Allen finishes as a top. I need to look this up, actually. Josh Allen. So in terms of finishes for quarterback, last 6 years, finishes as number 1 quarterback, number 2, number 1, number 2, number 1, number 1. So you kind of think of it as like how Gorn is in the ruck. Like he's just inevitable. Hasn't got injured forever basically. So Josh Allen, you can find an argument not to start him, but at some point he's probably going to need to be in your side. 30 mil is a big price tag, but he's in the side for me at the moment. Bench QB, I've thought about going a loophole there. So it's either a loophole and that's someone that's not playing completely, or you go a Mendoza, I think, and he should get a crack at the starting job at some point. You don't know if it's going to be after week 1. You don't know if it's going to be after week 10. So I think Mendoza is a fine stash. Could also go a loophole there, but you don't want to be using Mendoza as your loophole because there's every chance that like Kirk Cousins has a bad like first half of the game and then Mendoza comes in the second half and you get a really dodgy score. So he's a stash rather than a loophole if you want to go there. Other quarterbacks I'm considering, so we're going to filter down to quarterback. Can I not do that? Or am I just blind? I'm just going to chuck Allen in the quarterback in the flex position. So second quarterback, there's a case for a few guys. I don't really like any of these top price guys. There's a lot of value, like I alluded to earlier. Joe Burrow had an interrupted year last year. He's a top 5 quarterback when he's healthy. Lamar Jackson he's another one that he was playing injured last year, so that average last year isn't really representative of his capabilities. And then Jaden Daniels, third-year quarterback, another one that had injuries last year, and he should be a top 5 quarterback. So I think that there is a case where it's like you start 2 of Burrow, Jackson, and Daniels, and then like trade into Josh Allen a bit later on. But they've all got a few downsides as well. Like Joe Burrow's got a round 6 bye, so that's not ideal. Lamar, this is his first season under a new coach. They've got Jesse Minter, who was a defensive guy at the Chargers before moving on to being the head coach at Baltimore. I'm always a little bit wary about these defensive coordinators getting head coaching jobs, so there is a chance that we see Lamar start a little bit slow, trying to adapt to a new system, but ideally this new system should be adapting around Lamar and his strengths rather than the other way around. And then Jaden Daniels plays for the Commanders, just a cursed franchise, and he's a bit of a meme recently with all this LSU 5 nonsense. So we'll see how that plays into the year. I think Daniels is a pretty solid pick, but I think they've got Seattle and someone else that's a really Philadelphia in these first 3. So a couple of tough matchups to start the year. So they've all got a bit of downside, those 3. Don't worry about the Mac Daddy in the middle. He's not going to start. But I think any of those 3 you can make a case for. Others, it could maybe break out into that elite tier. Like Drake May had a really good year last year, but I was really hot on him last year. I think I drafted him in about 40% of my redraft leagues, and that was awesome because he was going as like quarterback 14, 15 in a lot of leagues. So snagged a big value on him last year, but probably a little bit of regression this year. Had a pretty soft schedule last year, and it'll be a bit tougher this year. Maybe coordinators will figure him out a little bit more as well. So probably not for me, but I can see a case. Trevor Lawrence, I think, was quarterback 1 over the past, from like week 10 onwards, as Jacksonville kind of like found their way under Liam Cohen, and they got an extra wide receiver. So I don't mind T-Law, but it's just a bit expensive compared to the other guys. If you're looking for someone really value, I can see a case for Malik Willis. I don't think he's going to be a good quarterback, but he's going to be a fantasy-friendly one, so similar to like how Justin Fields was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think Fields was like a top 8, top 10 quarterback, and just not starting caliber, but Malik could have similar success with a lot of his points coming through rushing yards rather than passing yards. And then Deshaun Watson, $8.6 million, $250 million contract, but seems to be washed. But if he isn't, then he's going to be valued at that price. But I'm fairly sure he is washed, and a bit of uncertainty around whether he can hold the starting job down long term as well. A lot of Shedeur Sanders fanboys around, so those are the options for quarterback. At the moment, I've got Lamar, but that can change. Running back, Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor, I have them both as top 4 running backs for the year. I've got it. So my rankings, it depends on format between Gibbs and Bijan, but it would be Gibbs in this format slightly over Bijan, and like that's very slightly. And then I think the next tier down is McCaffrey and Taylor, but they're both expensive. In a normal year, I would just be slamming both of those, but we'll see what value pans out, whether I'm able to afford them in actual finish side. But at the moment, I'm thinking about taking a couple of punts on guys that I think can break into the top 5. Chase Brown, he was impacted by Burrow getting having a interrupted year last year. When Burrow has played, I think Chase Brown's been like a top 6 running back in terms of fantasy points per game. So I'm bullish on Chase Brown. I'm a little bit less bullish on Amari and Hampton, but they get Mike McDaniels as a offensive coordinator. He's taken Achane to top 5 finishes, but that was also with a noodle arm quarterback and a game plan that was pretty much designed around Achane. So Chargers might be a bit more balanced. Obviously got to upgrade at quarterback, but Marion, I think he's going to be the main guy at the Chargers. There's been a bit of steam around Keaton Mitchell, but there's always steam around those kind of players at this point of the year. So at the moment, I've got Amari and Hampton as a potential breakout going into his second year. There's also Ken Walker, who I've considered. I guess the downside to Walker is he's got a round 5 bye. Had an amazing Super Bowl, but I'm not sure he gets as much work as some people are expecting him to get. Like, it's going to be a bigger role than he had in Seattle, but is the role going to be big enough where he can have like a top 5 season, or is it more like around that 6 to 10 range? So, I think Ken Walker, I think he's fine. I'm just a bit worried about early fixtures, early bye. Like, I would love to flip him on a buy, but by then he's only had 2 price increases. So Ken Walker, he's another option. At the moment I've got Amarian. Bench running backs, there's a bit of love around for Bashal Tutin. Potentially is the main guy in Jacksonville. I think it's going to be a committee. Like, I think Tootin will probably get like 50% of the work, but I think Chris Rodriguez will have a role and LaQuint Allen will have a role as well, which will stop him from probably being a top 12 running back in my position, in my opinion. And I don't think I don't think you have any confidence fielding him. So on a week-to-week basis, so he could be one that you put on the bench, but I don't want to start him. The 2 I'm going for at the moment, Jeremiah Love, picked 3rd in the draft this year, which is very high for a running back. The problem is the situation. Like I said earlier in the video, it's worse than what Genty had last year, worst team. Nathaniel Hackett as an offensive coordinator, which I do not rate at all. This is his 3rd stint as a OC, I'm pretty sure, and he's burnt the other 2 teams that he has been OC at into the ground. So I think the Cardinals are a prime tanking candidate. And they also signed Tyler Algier to a big contract. Also got James Conner, who's like been a much-loved guy around the facility over the years. So the problem with Love isn't the talent, it's the situation. Sometimes we do see talent beat out situation, though. Like, probably the example of that is like a Malik Neighbors rookie year, where it's like, he's got Daniel Jones throwing to him, and the Giants are going to be us, and then Malik Neighbors has a fantastic year. So those really elite players can beat out bad situations sometimes. So I'm not going to be completely fading Love, but I don't want to field him. And if something did happen to Algier, then like Love would be an amazing pick. So has that contingent value as well, but probably is just going to be a slow burn. The other one that is going to get a bit of steam, at least in redraft leagues, is Jonathan Brooks. So from what my understanding was, it was probably leaning towards like a 50-50 committee between Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks, probably leaning a little bit more in Chuba's direction to start the year, and then Brooks is probably like starting getting into the role like halfway through the year as he gets a bit more confidence in his body. But now Chuba is injured, week-to-week prospect, so he might not be around for week 1, which could give Brooks a starting job. So if that is the case, I would almost be confident enough to start Brooks, but He's coming off like an ACL last year and then an ACL the year before. So do I really feel that confident in Brooks? Probably not, but he's one that I've loved drafting in redraft leagues and best balls that I've done so far. But yeah, that price is about to get a bit more expensive. Wide receivers. So Puka is like my wide receiver 2 on the year. I think he's a bit behind Chase, but some would have Puka ahead of Chase going into the year, which is a reasonable take. I'm just a bit worried about Puka himself. A few questionable antics from him over like the past 12 months, and also relying on Matt Stafford staying healthy when he has been he has suffered injuries in the past, like back spasms and stuff like that. So it's probably a bit more tied to his off-field in Stafford rather than like his performance on the field. But I think I'll be fading Puka just because I need to squeeze some money. JSN, I like. I can't remember who I had out of JSN and Amon-Ra, but I like both of them. I think I might have had both of them in my side. Probably should have taken a note of who I had, but anyway, JSN, Offensive Player of the Year last year, and I don't see why he would regress this year. If anything, so I guess like JSN last year, like Seattle weren't a high passing team, but they were very efficient. They could move to being a little bit more passing this year and a bit less efficient because Kenneth Walker is at the Chiefs now. But yeah, I like JSN as a player and as a top 5 wide receiver. So I've got him, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I was talking about Josh Allen's consistency. Amon-Ra is incredibly consistent as well. Always seems to finish in like that 3 to 6 range for wide receivers. Very rarely misses games. And I think there was a game last year where he got injured on like one of the first snaps, like a hamstring or something like that. And you're thinking, this is a 3 to 4 week injury. This is someone that you have to trade. And then he ends up playing the next week. So he is just an absolute beast and a warrior. And yeah, I love Amon-Ra. In terms of other high-end wide receivers, Rasheed's a no. Don't think he's a top 5 wide receiver this year. Pickens has to compete with CD Lamb, who I think I can't remember if I've got him in my side at the moment, but CD has finished as a top 6 wide receiver in seasons past and as the wide receiver 1. Pickens probably caps his ceiling a little bit, but Pickens could get injured and then CD becomes like a must-have. But I think CD is a fine pick. I can't remember if I went there or not. I might have picked him over JSN just to save some money. But yeah, even if Pickens stays healthy, I think CD can improve on his average last year. Probably he finishes as like a top 8 wide receiver, but also has that contingent upside if Pickens was to miss any time. And then, there's a few premium or guys that could leap into premium status. Malik Neighbors, I mentioned him before. It's like a rookie that beat out situation. Had the knee injury last year, which was pretty severe, but it seems like he's back practicing and, a phenomenal talent going into his 3rd year. He can, if he does stay healthy, I would have him as a top 10 wide receiver pretty easily with the upside to finish as like top 4, top 3 even. So, Malik, great player. It's just the whether he is healthy or not. Justin Jefferson, my goodness, he was underwhelming last year. But the quarterback situation was horrendous. You have JJ McCarthy, who, he did not look like a NFL quarterback after week 1, and that really limited Jefferson from a perspective that I didn't even think was possible. I didn't think it was possible for him to finish this low. In terms of like actual talent, in terms of like a wide receiver themselves, like Jefferson's pretty clearly a top 5 in terms of talent. So Kyler Murray will be the quarterback this year. Should be a bit of an upgrade over JJ McCarthy, but There is a bit of risk in this pick. I can see arguments to not starting him. Maybe he only finishes as like a top 15 instead of a top 6, but there is the chance that he can go back to being a top 6 wide receiver with Kyler Murray at quarterback. Rookies, Carnell Tate. He's a highly drafted wide receiver. Cam Ward could potentially take a step forward this year for the Titans, and I think I would be confident enough fielding him. But yeah, I need to look into rookies a little bit more for wide receiver. So I've currently got Tate. I've got Concepcion. I think it was a late first round or early second round pick. I might have faded him actually, I think. Yeah, either way, he was an option, but I can't remember if I've actually got him or not. But yeah, he's a first round or late first round or early second round. I don't remember which one it is, but yeah, clearly talented. Been beat reporters raving about him in training camp. Just the downside is the situation. Is Deshaun actually going to be an NFL caliber quarterback? And if he isn't, is Shadur going to be a NFL caliber quarterback? And I would lean towards no for both of those. And then who else is there? I did have Jordan Tyson, I think, but he's recently suffered a hamstring, so I took him out. I think I had DeJourn Stribling, and he's another one. I think he's a second round pick, but there's been a few beat reporters raving over him this year, and preseason game, I think he had like 6 receptions for like 60 odd yards. It is preseason, and yeah, not too much to read into that, but yeah, positive signs from Stribling. But yeah, not too worried about rookies at this stage. We'll see what plays out over the next few weeks. Tight end, Trey McBride, I think there's a bit of regression to come. Just had a lot of touchdowns last year, and Cardinals were passing the ball a lot, whereas like everything they've indicated, like signing Algier, drafting Jeremiah Love, they should be more balanced this year. And also, yeah, I don't think McBride catches as many touchdowns. So I still have him as my number 2 tight end on the year, but at the price, I'm willing to go and pick a player that I think can break out. I do really like Tucker Kraft as well. George Kittle's a gun as well, but both of those coming off interrupted preparations may not even start week 1, and even if they do, could start the year slow, so I wouldn't want either of those. Kyle Pitts, this is an inflated average because he dropped like a 90 in Supercoach scoring the one of the weeks that Drake London was injured. So absolutely no. Let your idiot league mates take him. So for me, it's between Loveland and Warren. I do prefer the Loveland situation a little bit better, and I think Warren went a couple of picks before Loveland in the actual NFL draft, but Loveland was kind of profiled as like more of a passing game weapon, and yeah, I think both of them you can make a case for, but yeah, I prefer the Chicago situation over the Indiana one, and Loveland kind of like was breaking out in the second half of the year, where it's like Warren, there were excuses for him, but yeah, he started the year pretty strongly, and then Daniel Jones got injured, but yeah, I think I would prefer Loveland over Warren, but you can make cases for both of those. The other thing that you could do is kind of tank that tight end position and try and pick like a breakout one. So, I mean, last year if you started Warren, you would have been very happy doing that at a rookie price. But in terms of like highly drafted rookies at the tight end this year, it was only Kenyon Sadiq, and he's been injured to start the preseason, and that's pretty important for rookie players because yeah, it can take them a bit of time to integrate with the offense. So Sadiq I'm a bit less happy about. Isaiah Likely is the one that I think I'll go for if I don't go a loophole. he's been at Baltimore kind of behind Mark Andrews for a lot of all of his career. Mark Andrews has been like a top fantasy tight end, at least at the start of Likely's career, and then last few years has kind of fallen off a bit. And I thought Baltimore would kind of ship Andrews off instead of Likely, but Likely goes to the Giants, reunites with his head coach John Harbaugh, and has a path to being like a top 8 tight end. I think it's probably more likely he finishes around like that 12 to 15 range. Yeah, we'll see what Likely does. He'll make some money at this price point. Not one I think I would want to field though. So I can see an argument for fielding Likely, maybe putting a loophole in the tight end spot. But at this point, I think I'm happy enough to take a punt on Loveland or Warren, and leaning Loveland at this stage. 16 in the bank, so that goes to kickers. I looked at them earlier. Tyler Bass, I think I want to spend up on him, but at least in my team, I did have Bass and I had Zavada, but I am a little bit more inclined to go Smack now after seeing him smack through a 58-yarder in preseason today. So, yeah, maybe I'll just chuck Smack in, and that will leave me 8.8 for a defense. Defense is going to be the last position I feel this year. It's kind of just going to be who can I afford, who's got a bit of upside to them at their price. So, if I can afford a top defense, great. Like Texans should be solid. Seahawks should be good. Jacksonville's probably the odd man out in the top 5. But yeah, Rams going to strengthen and get Myles Garrett. So Rams look to be a bit of value compared to the rest of the top ones. And then Broncos are an elite defense as well, who I would have expected to be number 1 last year, but ended up being 4th. But they can go back to being number 1. So any of those for top defenses are good. I think I'll probably save and try and nail like a mid-range one, or even like a low-range one. Like Titans with Robert Saleh as head coach could improve a lot defensively. He did wonders at the Jets for the defense, but not their offense. So they are one that could be a big improver. Who else is there? Yeah, maybe Cincinnati signing Dexter Lawrence off the Giants. They can be an improver as well. None that I'm really flag planting at this point of the year and saying, oh yeah, you have to pick that defense. And it might just come down to early fixtures to see who I end up picking in the defense spot. So I'm just going to slot in... let's slot in the Chargers for now. Arizona week 1. And this is obviously going to change. But yeah, I guess this is my first team. So I'll run through it quickly. So it's Lamar and Josh Allen as the quarterbacks. Mendoza, who could be a loop. In the bench spot, Bijan and Gibbs are locks. Chase Brown and Marion very likely to change. I think, yeah, I would prefer to get a top guy, but we'll see if I can find value elsewhere. Love and Brooks on the bench. Brooks in particular could be a riser, depending on how long this Tuba injury is, and Tootin I don't mind as well. Wide receivers, Amon-Ra, Chase, Lamb. Wouldn't mind getting up to like a JSN or a Puka, but we'll see how that plays out. Neighbours and Jefferson, kind of upside plays. I think no matter what happens, like at least they'll make a little bit of money, but they also have the upside of finishing top 10, top 5 in their position. So at this point, we'll see what plays out in preseason, but at this point, happy to have them both. Wide receiver rookies, a bit of roulette, to be honest. There's even a bit of hype around Cyrus Allen, so at the Chiefs, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, those are the 3 I've got at the moment: Tate, Concepcion, and Stribling. Tight ends, Bowers is a lock. Tight end 2, Loveland or Warren at this point for me, but can also make a case for spending up for McBride, or even having Likely on field at the tight end too, and kind of taking that and spreading the funds around the rest of the side. At the moment, yeah, it's those two, and then Likely tight end 3 could have a loop there. Kicker, Smack and Zavada. We'll see if Zavada actually wins the job though, and we'll see if Smack can continue the preseason game form and not the preseason camp form. And then DST, I've got Chargers and Cowboys, but need to look into that a bit further. So next video, I'll actually create a league and people can join that. But yeah, it sums things up for me. Very excited for NFL returning, and hopefully can go one position better than last year. So as per usual, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you for the next video.